President Trump announced 25% tariffs against our auto industry. And this is a direct attack, to be clear, a direct attack on the very workers that I stood in front of, Unifor workers I stood in front of this morning at the Ambassador Bridge, a bridge that is a symbol and a reality up until now of the tight ties between our two countries, ties of kinship, ties of commerce, ties that are in the process of being broken. We will defend our workers. We will defend our companies. We will defend our country.
Donald Trump always has been and always will be a weak, insecure, little petulant child. It is the reason he is always trying to project out this strength, pretend like he's some machismo tough guy. It's because anything but that is true. And Donald Trump proves it out again and again. And he just recently did when he essentially admitted defeat. Donald Trump did on the trade war that he started his attack on our neighbors to the north looks like it's coming to an end. Because Donald Trump made a post that shows just how weak he is and how quickly he will fold. And we are going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way. And it really does mean a lot to me. And before we can get into Donald Trump's post, showing that he's given up on his attack, I want to see where he was just a few short days ago when he was pretending to be so strong.
Nobody knows that Canada's charging our dairy farmers. They have 270% tariffs. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. They have up to 400%. They have a couple of tariffs at 400%. Nobody knows that. Nobody talks about that. And remember, with Canada, we don't need their cars. We don't need their lumber. We don't need their energy. We don't need anything from Canada. And yet it costs us $200 billion a year in subsidy to keep Canada afloat. So when I say they should be a state, I mean that. I really mean that. Because we can't be expected to carry a country that is right next to us on our border. It would be a great state. It would be a cherished state. The taxes for Canadian citizens would go down in less than half. They don't spend money on military because they think we're going to protect them. There are many things that they do, like icebreakers. They want us to provide icebreakers for them. Oh, that's wonderful. So the Canada, they're very tough traders too. I want to just tell you, of all the people, they're tough traders. They trade very tough. And, you know, the expression I use is, some people don't have the cards. I used that expression about a week and a half ago, right?
So that was Donald Trump just a couple of days ago, and I want this to be kept in the back of your mind as we're watching how the rest of this video unfolds, saying that, no, I'm serious. Canada is going to be the 51st state. We're going to them economically. That's been Donald Trump's plan. It's what we talked about was leaked on a phone call with Justin Trudeau just a couple of months ago. Donald Trump saying that we have the military strength. We have the power. Look how big and tough I am sitting in my chair with my Diet Coke button. That was Donald Trump trying to project out that he felt confident about a trade war, that Americans kind of unilaterally hate Republicans and Democrats and independents alike, and especially when Canada's Prime Minister, Mark Carney, was very clear he's not letting up. It even got worse for Donald Trump. Take a look.
Over the coming weeks, months, and years, we must fundamentally reimagine our economy. We will need to ensure that Canada can succeed in a drastically different world. The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations, is over. What exactly the United States does next is unclear. But what is clear is that we, as Canadians, have agency. We have power. We are masters in our own home. Nous sommes maîtres chez nous. We can control our destiny. we can give ourselves much more than any foreign government, including the United States, can ever take away. We can deal with this crisis best by building our strength right here at home. It will take hard work. It will take steady and focused determination from governments, from businesses, from labor, from Canadians. We will need to dramatically reduce our reliance on the United States. We will need to pivot our trade relationships elsewhere. And we will need to do things previously thought impossible at speeds we haven't seen in generations. But we can make ourselves more productive and therefore more competitive. We can break down internal trade barriers. We can build a stronger and more resilient economy. And that's what I'm squarely focused on as your Prime Minister. During my first 9 days as Prime Minister, I came to an agreement with the provinces and territories to remove all exemptions under the Canada Free Trade Agreement.
That is what actual strength looks like, by the way, from Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney, resolve focused understanding that the path ahead might be tough, but he has a plan on how to combat this attack from his ally, real strength, real leadership. And clearly, that intimidated Donald Trump. He thought he could bully Canada. He cannot. And it's the reason why we saw Donald Trump admit defeat. And I think you'll be able to tell how in this post right here, Trump just posted, "I just finished speaking with Prime Minister Mark Carney of Canada." Prime Minister Mark Carney, it was an extremely productive call. We agree on many things, and we'll be meeting immediately after Canada's upcoming election to work on elements of politics, business, and all other factors that will end up being great for both the United States of America and Canada. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, when we do Trump translation, I think it is important to look at the very specific language, and that is why I repeated Prime Minister Mark Carney twice. What happened to Governor? Just a couple of weeks ago, it was Governor Trudeau. These premiers in Canada were governors. The rest of their government, representative senators of the United States, have you changed your mind? Donald, are they not going to become the 51st state? Are you caving to Mark Carney? Did he scare you into submission? Is that what happened? Because his speech was much more powerful than yours. Just absolutely hilarious that Donald Trump is so quick to admit defeat on his own stupid trade war. And the biggest issue here is, although the tariffs were never even able to take effect in any meaningful way, all Donald Trump did was crash the markets, cause greater economic insecurity, and artificially raise prices that will probably stay exactly at the levels that they're at now, because why would companies lower them? Donald Trump has just screwed over the American people for nothing. Now, I don't know if this is actually Donald Trump announcing that everything is fine with Canada. The tariffs are over completely. He's moved on from this idea, so on and such, but calling him Prime Minister, saying he's really looking forward to things clearly, a post he did not write. It makes you think, doesn't it, that he's had enough. He's been beaten into submission because of his own stupidity, but that's not the only place where Donald Trump is losing a big battle on Social Security as well. Rachel Maddow broke it down.
Americans just pulling it together on their own to save Social Security. That woman in Grand Rapids, Michigan yesterday saying, "I woke up this morning and said, I got to do something." And by afternoon, there she was. And Americans all over the country are waking up every day somewhere having that same feeling. And that political leadership from regular Americans is now starting to push over the right dominoes. We are starting to see, for example, stirrings from big, powerful groups that at least used to have a lot of sway on issues like this, groups like AARP.
AARP is fighting to protect your Social Security. You've worked hard and paid into Social Security with every paycheck your entire working life. But recently, we've heard from thousands of worried Americans. That's why we're asking for 3 assurances right now. 1, Social Security will make payments on time like it has for almost 90 years. 2, claims will be processed on time and not backlogged for months. 3, customer service will be a top priority. Getting rid of phone service and asking tens of millions of Americans to jump through new hoops or drive hours to a local office is deeply unacceptable. Join me in sending a loud and clear message to lawmakers. Social Security must be protected. Take action now at aarp.org/pledge. Tell lawmakers it's your money, you've earned it.
Hear her say there at the beginning, recently we've heard from thousands of worried Americans. Hello, AARP. I thought you would be blanketing the nation with super effective ads and hounding every member of the administration every day up to and including the president. It's kind of what I have come to expect from AARP. We are not seeing anything like that yet from AARP, but they are admitting that thousands of their own members are contacting them now, and they are showing signs of life. And when you combine that with the real political leadership that we are seeing from regular Americans who just wake up one morning and say, I've got to do something, and then they go do something, well, you know what? It works. It has an impact. It pushes over one domino that then pushes down another. For example, we had Trump's Social Security nominee have his desultory little confirmation hearing this week in the United States Senate. But at that hearing, you had Republicans, asking, hey, wait, how many Social Security offices are you closing in my state? My constituents are telling me that Social Security service is collapsing. And look, I had my staff confirm it. After Trump fired all these people at Social Security, turns out it now takes hours to get through on the phone. And then even when you've waited on the phone for hours, you get cut off anyway. Hey, Social Security nominee from the Trump administration, what's going on here? You got that this week even from Republican senators. You have the top Republicans in the Senate who supposedly oversee Social Security, who until now have been totally silent as Trump has been firing thousands of people from the agency, as his top campaign donor has been given access to all the most sensitive systems at the agency, while he publicly calls it a Ponzi scheme that must be shut down. As the service has started to palpably collapse, they have been silent and have been doing nothing. But now you've got them having to admit to reporters and whining a little bit about it that maybe they should be in on some of this stuff. From NBC News, quote, Republican Senator Chuck Grassley, the chairman of a key Senate subcommittee on Social Security, said he had not been told ahead of time about the Trump administration's moves at the agency. Quote, no, I have not been, Grassley told NBC News. Asked if it would be helpful to his job if he were given a heads up, Grassley repeated, I have not been. I have not been. Republican Senator Steve Daines, a Senate Finance Committee member, said in an interview that he, too, hasn't been in the loop for the Trump administration's changes. Quote, no, we haven't, he said. Quote, I haven't had any heads up. Senator Daines said that he would appreciate advance notice about the changes the administration makes to Social Security. He said, quote, I'd like to know about it, yeah. Well, that's something. I'd like to know about it. So those are the people in Washington, but it is the leaders of this country. I see you, plucky retirees in knitted hats on the side of the road in Reno. I see you. After the real leaders of this country, after you guys took the wheel, it has started something. And so now, yes, if you are applying for Medicare or disability or SSI benefits through Social Security, they're no longer planning to mandate that you have to go in person to your local Social Security office that they're probably closing anyway and or firing most of the staff. And no, they are no longer killing the 1-800 line altogether, which they had previously been planning on doing. And no, they are not forcing through this verify your identity in person change that they were going to force through as of Monday, which would have forced immediately millions of people, millions of older and disabled people to have have to go to these offices in person, and they've apparently done no training for it at all. And oh, by the way, the new system they said they want to put in place doesn't exist, but now they're not going to implement that on Monday.
We're getting some wins here and there. Sometimes they're tough to come by. Sometimes they don't feel like wins at first, but we're getting some wins. That means we just got to keep fighting back. We're doing so on this show every single day. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.